Sawasdee krab and welcome to a special coverage of Thai election 2023 Next Chapter Thailand on TNN media platform. My name is Varin, Sachdev, and our co-host Kun Thanchanok, Jongyotying, or also known as Mickey. Sawasdee krab. Sawasdee krab.
Such an exciting day for Thai people.
Indeed. That's why we call it the Next Chapter Thailand, because this is the defining moment for the Thai politics. So we'll be keeping you updated on the latest developments of the election results and the voters turnout, and also the parties who are winning and losing, and the likely scenario of forming the coalition. And also we'll be hearing from our commentators as well. We have two commentators joining us soon to give their insights on the democracy in Thailand and the challenges that lies ahead. But before that, let's give you a brief background on the general election in Thailand. This 2023 general election is a turning point for Thailand. Not only that it will indicate the choice of the political administration, but also reflects differences between generations, public sentiments, and how the majority sees their own country as well. Thailand General Election 2023 marks one of the most significant political events in Thai politics. The government led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha and the Palang Pracharat Party has all along faced with resistance in all forms, particularly protests on the streets and unwavering no-confidence votes. However, all parliamentary no-confidence votes have left the government unscathed, and the government's administration power has endured eventually. General Prayut and his cabinet complete the full 4-year term. Before General Prayut, only Thaksin Shinawatra government back in 2001 to 2005 could be able to deliver that. And although Thailand's political timeline made a big noise in 2014, when a military coup was staged, the efforts to reunify the people who had been divided by political stances and the amendment of the constitution, which was approved by the referendum in 2016, which took over 4 years. The general election took place in 2019, confirmed the satisfaction of the administration. In spite of Pheu Thai Party's largest numbers of elected MPs, it failed to form a coalition, and the successful coalition parties nominated General Prayut as the Prime Minister, who took the office in August 2014. So for this election, we have the latest development up until now. The 2023 general election becomes a political epic for Thailand. It might have an answer for a big change which can influence alteration of the constitution, particularly in terms of freedom of expression, or a steady and secure move forward, as Thailand has seen in the past 4 years. The number of the eligible voters in 2023 is approximately 52 million people out of total population of 72 million. And there were 4,12,808 first-time voters, accounting for 7.67%, while the 14 million elderly voters account for 27.48% of all eligible voters. Generation X, or those from 42 to 57 years old, is the group with the largest number of voters, with over 16 million people, representing 30.87% of the total voters. The 2023 general election is indeed a turning point for Thailand. Not only that, it will indicate the choice of the political administration, but also reflects differences between generations, public sentiments, and how the majority sees their own country.
Let's see how the Thai election functions this morning. This election is seen as a referendum on Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha's government, which has ruled for nearly 9 years since a coup d'etat in 2014. And the voting this morning began at 8 a.m. and closed at 5 p.m. at 95,000 polling stations across the country. And as you already said, that we have 52 million eligible voters to cast the ballot. But let's see the voter turnout from the Election Commission. I think that they will give a press conference soon. But last Sunday, around 2.2 million already cast the ballot in the early voting. And for this time, each voter, when you go to the polls, you have to, you will receive 2 ballots, right? One is list for constituency representative, another one for the party list MP. And the lower house contains 400 district seats and another 100 that will be distributed based on the party list vote results. So we will start to see the official result, the earlier result by the Election Commission that collect all the vote count from nationwide polling stations, and it start to publish on its website from 7 p.m. Already, and we expect the unofficial results to be known around 11 p.m. tonight,
Sunday night, yeah. And the next government will lead Thailand's post-pandemic economy and direct the country's ambition to become a hub for the regional supply chains, transportation and logistics amid challenges like the aging society and slowing population growth and high indebtedness. So what do the final polls say? In the recent weeks, the two opposition parties, Pheu Thai and Move Forward, have consistently led in most of the opinion polls ahead of Prayut and other PM candidates from the conservative camp. Pheu Thai is expected to win majority seats, but its push for a 310-seat landslide is fading as Move Forward closes the polling gap. In a survey released on May 3rd by the National Institute of the Development Administration, or NIDA, 33.96% of respondents said they would vote for Move Forward constituency candidates, up 12.76 points from the previous survey, compared with 38.32% favoring Pheu Thai. More than half of respondents consistently prefer an opposition candidate for Prime Minister over Prayut and other nominees from the ruling coalition. But the latest NIDA poll placed Pitha Limjaranrat of the Move Forward party ahead of Pheu Thai's Pathongthan Shinawat for the first time, with a 6.24-point gap. Pheu Thai's secondary Prime Minister nominee Sethha Thavisin also gained in the polls as Pathongthan left the campaign trail to give birth to her latest child on May the 1st.
We have some of the interview from the Prime Minister candidates who cast the ballot this morning. Let's listen to their speech this morning at the polling station. Okay, we have Prime Minister candidates, Pathongthan, Pitha, the latest one from Pitha after the polls closed, and also from General Prayut Chan-o-cha. Let's have a listen.
ตามทีทางของประชาธิปไตยของเรานะครับทุกคนทุกวัยนะครับที่มีเลือกตั้งและอยู่ในเกณฑ์ที่อยากเลือกตั้งและอยู่ขอให้มาทุกคนนะครับขอให้มีการเลือกตั้งให้มากที่สุดแล้วกันนะเสียงของประชาชนทั้งประเทศนะครับ
โอ้ดีมากเลยค่ะเมื่อเช้าก็ตามข่าวอยู่เนาะแล้วก็เห็นหลายๆคนนะคะออกมาใช้สิทธิ์เลือกตั้งวันนี้เรามาก็ที่เขตของอิงเองก็คนเยอะมากเลยค่ะมีก็ต่อคิวอยู่สักพักหนึ่งเลยแล้วก็รู้สึกว่าโอ้ดีจังเป็นวันที่ทุกคนออกมาใช้สิทธิ์เลือกตั้งมันสำคัญจริงๆค่ะก็อยากให้พี่น้องคนไทยนะคะตอนนี้ถ้าใครได้เห็นข่าวนี้นะคะก็ออกมาเลือกตั้งกันเยอะๆค่ะมาใช้สิทธิ์ของตัวเอง
And this was the latest from Pitha. So this is the latest speech from Pitha, saying right now it's both satisfying and unsatisfying, and he's satisfied because Bangkok opinion poll and the result came out as expected, but in the provincial areas, Move Forward party don't match up with the poll. However, they are still leading in many areas such as northern and northeastern, and if both combined, he's sure of his numbers will exceed the 3 digits. And based on the poll at the moment, he thinks the two leading parties, whoever they are, will be able to set up a majority government with over 251 seats. And he thinks this is a good vision that change has come to our country. Quote, at the moment, as we are speaking, the number has shown that people want change, unquote. And another quote from Pitha Limjaranrat, the candidate from Move Forward Party, quote, I would like to thank all Thais who live in the country, provincial and out of the kingdom, who trusted Move Forward. We will continue our duty and we will not disappoint the people, unquote. So, will Thailand's political tensions be a factor There's a division within both the ruling coalition and the pro-democracy camps. The splintering of Prayut's coalition with the Prime Minister backed by his new United Thai Nation Party may divide the votes for conservative parties and create an opening for Pheu Thai in some districts. But Pheu Thai has been unable to shake rumors of a coalition deal with Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan, leader of the ruling pro-military Palang Pracharat Party. The potential alliance has pushed some opposition voters to embrace Move Forward and its clear stance on reforming the military, removing its influence on government and ending conscription. Pheu Thai, meanwhile, has hesitated to embrace Move Forward's more progressive proposals, such as amending Les Majestés law. Former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, the father of Pathong Than, also threw a wrench into the final campaign week. He was ousted by the military in 2006 and has lived in self-exile since 2008. Thaksin said on Tuesday he would return home in July despite facing a prison sentence, saying, "It's been almost 17 years since I had to be separated from my family. I'm already old." Unquote. So what will happen after the election? The Election Commission has 60 days to endorse or reject the results of the constituency races, 95% of which have to be certified for the parliament to be seated. Apportioning party list seats will take longer. In between, parties will likely trade complaints of electoral violations. Based on the 2009 election, some candidates could be disqualified and parties could be dissolved. And this is from the Al Jazeera's perspective. How is a prime minister selected? According to the observation by international media like Al Jazeera's, parties that win at least 25 seats are qualified to nominate a prime minister and can name up to 3 candidates. The prime minister is selected by a simple majority of a joint vote of the lower house and the Senate, whose 250 members were not elected but appointed by a military government. That means the winning candidates needs at least 376 votes. And as the constitution does not set a time frame for the prime minister's election, Prayut could continue on as caretaker prime minister indefinitely. Electoral authorities have said they expect a record turnout of more than 80% in Sunday's vote, and this is higher than the 75% turnout recorded by the Commission in the last general election back in 2019. You're watching Next Chapter Thailand, a special coverage on election 2023 with me, Varin, Sachdev, and our co-host, Thanchanok, Jongyotying, and we are now joined by 2 commentators. Allow me to introduce them one by one. Prof.Dr. Kitti Prasirtsuk is a professional international relations professor at the Faculty of Political Science, Thammasat University, and he's advisory committee for the International Studies Center, or ISC, at the Thai Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and used to serve as a strategic committee at the Thai Ministry of Defense during 2014 and 2019. And Professor Kitti is currently among the editorial board of the journal Global Studies Quarterly, published by the International Studies Association in the United States. And another commentator joining us is Prud, who currently serves as the elected president of the Thailand-United States Alumni Association, or TUSAA, and selected as one of the YSEALI Academic Fellows to Arizona State University, ASU, on civic engagement in 2017. Prud has become an active alumnus since. And apart from leading and supporting several U.S. government-funded YSEALI projects, Prud was also an elected president of the Thailand YSEALI Network, an alumni association for YSEALI Thailand that was a predecessor of TUSAA, or the Thailand-United States Alumni Association. And he's also wearing another hat as the management of the global tech company as well. So welcome to the show. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Professor Kitti สวัสดีครับ คุณ Prud สวัสดีครับ So if you were confronted by your international friends, how would you describe Thai democracy to your international friends? Let's lay a foundation so they understand as they follow the results of the votes and the turnout. Professor Kitti, krab.
Okay, about Thai democracy, not about this election yet.
In general, yeah, to lay the foundation.
Okay, I think Thai democracy can be characterized as transitional democracy, transitional democracy, because after 2005 we have been in the political crisis for very long, almost 2 decades now, and it came out as a compromise in the Thai politics that conservative force on one side, led by political elite, old elites, and bureaucracy, military establishment, and another side is the progressive or liberal forces that came from electoral victory, and also including the new people like Move Forward Party, which have very extreme and progressive agenda. So we tend to have these two forces at the same time. That's why we are not full democracy yet. We are the kind of semi-democracy because the senator, the appointed senator, which is not elected by the people, are able to vote to elect the prime minister. So that means in the parliament, you need the vote of the senator to become prime minister and to form a cabinet. So that's a very big majority that you need to get in order to form a government.
You already answered, our up-and-coming questions about the challenges ahead. But before that, let's hear from Kun Prud. How would you explain Thai democracy to your international friends?
Right. For me, I would say a crossroad or a work in progress. Not only because on the political side, we also see the pattern or the trends of youth engagement in the politics, shifting away from going to the road and protesting and trying to get their voice heard. But as we see from this election, the majority of the areas of interest or the things that youth want to see in the politics has been reflected in the early result of the election this time. So it's kind of paradigm shift. It's kind of work in progress from going into the road into trusting more in the parliamentary system.
So how will this election shape the Thai politics then, Ajahn Kitti?
The first,
Before that, should we see the election result
Of
first
course,
so
yes.
that we can
Yeah.
make a comment on that?
Yeah, of course, yes.
How the result is going right now. I think that it's not beyond expectation that Pheu Thai and Move Forward Party are now leading in the poll, especially for the constituency-based races, and as well as the party list MP as well. Could we see the voting result?
Can we have the results, the latest results of the counted ballots? We wait a few seconds.
Okay.
Because we are basing on the real
Yes,
time
on the real
results,
time
not the polls.
Yes, from the election commission.
From the election commission. So
that we could take a look, how Thailand will shape from now on.
From now on, yeah. So these are the atmosphere. We have two ballots. One was for the
Okay.
party list and the other one was for the constituency. So now the leading party, real-time votes as of now,
This is party list vote.
party list votes as of 7:50 p.m. Pheu Thai is leading, followed by Move Forward.
But
United-
not much difference in the count.
And the third is United Thai Nation Party for the incumbent Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. These are the latest. So looking at these results as the ballots are being counted still, how do you foresee this election shaping Thai politics, Professor Kitti?
Okay, the first thing that we need to look at this election is that the Move Forward Party or the very progressive party had won so much than expected. I think the vote they gained in Bangkok alone, almost all the districts, 33 districts, they won as many as 32 districts, almost all. And also in Greater Bangkok, that means in vicinity, Nonthaburi, Samut Prakan, Pathum Thani, they also won many seats. So I think that means the balance between the conservative and the progressive that I have mentioned earlier. Now the balance is being tipped toward the progressive and the liberal. The previous arrangement under this constitution is more to the advantage of the conservatives. so that they can mobilize the senator. Because the last election 4 years ago, the vote, the conservative received and the progressive liberal got, the Prue Thai party, Move Forward party, are close, very close. But this time, it not close as before. So it seems that people send a clear signal that they would like some change. So that is a very important milestone in Thai politics.
คุณออมครับ
On top of Professor Kitti, I think change is a very important word here because what we, on top of the previous answer, I think what people want to see is on top of change is also how the future in their version. They want to see that the future that they have the power to write by themselves. So they try to use the election in their power as they could because the power it's in their pen. So they're trying to use this as much as possible. And also I think it sort of like challenges the traditional way of polling significantly because what we expect from the poll is Prue Thai leading the election this time. But then we can clearly see that it's not always the case because we can see the Move Forward Party has been, neck on neck with Prue Thai Party in terms of the early result.
Professor Kitti ครับ are we really like the Western democracy in terms of ideology because you mentioned the word conservative and the liberal but we're not defined as such in the past. We don't have like right or left or
center left,
center right. So is that like a kind of a new concept for Thai politics? Judging from this election, are we stepping that direction?
I think so. It has been from in 2 decades since the Prue Thai party came to power. Before that, they called Thai Rak Thai party in 2000-2001. It came with a model of welfare state, trying to give welfare to the people, with people criticized as populist policy somehow. But that is the changing point in Thai politics that we advocate more with ideologies. But the majority of the politicians at that time, 2 decades ago, 1 decade ago, they tend to be like more like opportunist politician that can go with any party that will become the government. But now we have seen the party that on the very right and on the very left and some party on the center right, center left. We see that phenomenon more. So Thai politics is becoming more ideological compared to before.
And how will that change how our society functions?
Well, I think in our society, it's unfortunate that we have so many gaps, many cleavages. Before that, we have the red and the yellow. The red prefer electoral democracy, while the yellow more conservative, prefer more somehow appointment to some extent. But now I think it's very clear that people would not like to have a kind of compromising arrangement to the advantage of the conservative. They prefer a more people voice. They need to advocate something that change more structurally in Thailand. Many arrangement, many system, many practices that need to be reformed, particularly in government sector. And the generation gap, I think, it's very interesting this time because young people they're very clear. They show very clear a message that they prefer the progressive party, liberal party. But this time I think Gen X is a critical point here because Gen X they have about 21 million voter. Gen Y, Gen Z, younger generation about 18, right? And older generation, baby boomer and before baby boomer about 12. So the number of 21 million voters of the Gen X is very critical. And I think they tip the balance more toward the progressive as well. Maybe 60% toward the progressive and 40% toward the conservative. In my view.
What about the fact that the Bangkok people and the vicinity vote for Prue Thai and Move Forward Party, but in regions, I mean provinces, they still vote for that the same stronghold like Pheu Thai or even Phumjai Thai Party or the Democrat Party still hold a seat in the south. How do you see that?
But in like a more well-to-do provinces like Chonburi, Chiang Mai in the north, and even Phuket, it seems that Move Forward Party turned out to be very strong. So they took hold in so many provinces. So, but we cannot deny that in Thailand we still have the politicians who very political savvy, well versed in their district management and so on, and they can still won the votes. But still, in terms of party list, maybe I think Move Forward gain so many votes this time.
What does it say, Move Forward, coming with such a big success this time, coming from the younger generation, because you can also represent the younger crowd, you're the Gen Y and below, and so what do you make of this outcome? Are you really hopeful that the change that the youth wanted will happen with all the conditions in Thai politics?
I think two things that sort of characterize the early result of this election is one thing is the penetration of the technology, because as we can see that compared to the last election, people were still confused of the ideology, the offerings of the parties at that time. But then coming to this election, we can clearly see that both Move Forward Party, Pheu Thai Party, as well as other leading parties can make the most use out of the media, to understand where their voters lie, where their stronghold, and then they use that channels to insert or to reflect on the political offerings that they bring to the table.
Professor Kitti, that's good that Om has brought up the media, the technology, and we as a media, we also talk a lot about disinformation, misinformation, echo chambers. Do you think with this election, with the use of technology extensively, is the public well informed, or are they in their own echo chambers and they don't really care?
I think that reflects in what the last question about why people in Bangkok and vicinity and also the city like Chiang Mai, Chonburi or Phuket came to the Move Forward Party because they use a lot of social media, new kind of media. And people in the city tend to be more informed than people in the rural area. So that means I think that the effect of the media that make the victory, that mean the Move Forward Party gain many votes for that sake.
Are you confident that that the public is well informed with the technology? Are there any downsides to political parties using technology extensively?
I think it had both the good and bad sides because coming in parallel with the technology is the misinformation, or access to the wrong information. Because as more people can access to the information source, the people in charge of those information source can easily manipulate the type of data that they provide to the ecosystem, to the echo chamber, or to their own communities. So but we have to also say that it also helped to bring the right information, to bring the information that people need into their homes, into their device as well. So it has both sides.
I think some expat may be wondering, if some kind of situation occurs, such as Pheu Thai Party or Move Forward Party couldn't form a coalition together, or either of them couldn't become a prime minister or form a government. How would you describe or explain this situation to the expat community who are now watching the show, to understand the situation better about Thai politics?
First, we have to look at the votes that the Pheu Thai Party and the Move Forward Party gains. These two parties is the key here, and I think what has been unexpected that as we said earlier, Move Forward Party gained more votes than initially expected. That means Pheu Thai, if they won the number one party that won these elections, landslide, not quite landslide. Landslide seems to be on the Move Forward Party, but I mean it would be harder for Pheu Thai Party not to include Move Forward Party in the coalitions because they gain so much votes, particularly in Bangkok. And before the election, in our academic circle, we discussed that maybe Pheu Thai Party would like to form the coalition with the Palang Pracharat led by General Prasirtsuk in order to stabilize the government, to make a compromise with the conservative establishment and so on. But now it seems more difficult in that situation. But we never know. It would depend on a lot of factors. We need to look at the electoral committee. How they approve all the candidates, the 500 of them. Maybe they can get, we call the yellow card or the red card because of some electoral fraud or something like that. We still need to wait quite long. And during that time, they're gonna negotiate.
As an observer, can you confidently say that this has been a transparent and not rigged election? Because we talk a lot about when we read the analysis or during the conversation with our international expat community, we talk about invisible hands that that you don't naturally see when it comes to forming a coalition. So will this forming of the coalition be transparent, or can it be transparent? That reflects the voters' desire.
Oh, okay. I think there are two stages here. First, electoral fraud in terms of micro in the district. I don't think there are so many. We cannot guarantee that there are not any. But it's gonna be, I would say, minor. So that would not be the point. But the point is more, as Kun Varin said, about the negotiation behind the scene, how the coalition is being formed. So it's not straightforward. It depends on the negotiation among the parties and also the senator that we have mentioned, 250 of them, how they would vote to approve the prime minister, because we have a big say in that, and we cannot, we do not know yet what they are going to do. So I think there are many factors that we need to look at. And also the Constitutional Court and also anti-corruption commissions. These two independent organs can also have a say to dissolve the party or maybe to, if the party leader maybe made some illegal practice in the past or something like that.
But every time this happens, there will always be a very popular phrase, politically motivated. Everything seems to be politically motivated. So how do we come to terms, if this happens again, and we'll be able to really have a government for the people, or a really true democracy?
Well, at this
time,
time,
too much to ask for?
I am a little bit optimistic because it would be harder for senators or independent organ like Constitutional Court to dissolve the party. Maybe they have done that before several times, and this time to use the same tools again maybe not that easy, given the number of the voter turnout to be this way. So I am a little bit optimistic.
Now, as we see the vote counting result, it seems like a Move Forward Party is leading Pheu Thai in terms of the party list vote. So I have a question on the Prime Minister candidate of Pheu Thai Party. There are three candidates, right? And as we see the polls, every poll, Pathongthan is leading ahead of Kun Sethha. And what if they win with majority seat and Kun Sethha become the prime minister? What would be the impact inside the party or among their voters on that? Because it seemed that Thaksin Shinawat's daughter is more favored in the polls.
I think Mr. Sethha can become prime minister if Pheu Thai won as the number one party this time, because I think they need to have a kind of compromise with the conservative forces as well. Sethar probably he more experienced, and he not related directly to Mr. Thaksin, not a family business. So if Pair Thong Than came out as the prime minister, I think it's gonna be more resistance. So I think Pheu Thai will have. I think they think strategically as well how to make the government survive. They do not want to just set up the government. They want to be a last long.
Yeah. Can anybody comment on expectations from the business community? Because I've been talking to lots of businessmen. They seem to be very dissatisfied with the economy over the past 8 years. So maybe they needed more. They have some other expectations for the economy. What are the expectations from the business community?
For me personally, as someone from the business sector myself, I think the business sector would demand a more functioning or active or forward-driven government. As we can see that for the business side, it's not about the domestic market. It's also about the international market. How Thailand is competitive enough to compete with other countries in the world. So if the business or Thai people have a government that look outward more onto the international community, that would be more preferred, because it also reflects how the government is setting the priorities for the country's development as well. So that cascades down to how or what the business sector could benefit from the policies.
I think this time it's gonna be a lot of reform in terms of the government sector, in terms of let's say the Pheu Thai party advocate FTA since the time of Thaksin, they will be more active on that, and also in terms of easing the practices, the way they do business. I think that would be beneficial for the business community. I think that's gonna be the change that both the Move Forward Party and the Pheu Thai party has been advocating for some times. Because in the conservative government so far, the bureaucrats tend to run the show in many ways. So now it's time for probably change to reform or to make things easier for the business sector.
But the narratives closer to the election date, has been anything but the policies. It has been something else. It has been, something that has a deeper sentiments in Thai society. So, are you concerned that the results of this election will make the society even more divisive? So, instead of moving forward with all the things that needs to be done for the country, we will still be trapped in the same conflict we've been in over the past 20 years.
Well, I think it's also risky. It's also risky in a sense, because many policy platform of the Move Forward Party has been regarded as extreme for the conservative or the people older generations. They think that they want to change too much, and I think compromise need to be made between both sides, and the older generation need to come to terms with the change in the attitudes of the people, not only young people, but people in the Gen X, 40 to 50. I think people in the age of 40s, they are more capable to change, and they would advocate more change in the society, more reform in our practices, including even military conscriptions. I think that is the point that we need to have a clear debate, but it's not that we need to push forward for that totally. We need to listen to all the relevant sector and go forward with the policy. I think rather than just go ahead with any policy, we need to discuss together, listening to all sector, and that would be the healthy Thai politics in the future. But that is my hope. I hope that is going to happen rather than conflicting each other. But again, it's risky.
Risky,
as
right?
well.
So, Kun Prit Oknom, you've been dealing more with the younger generation. So, are they willing to compromise, with the older or the elder generations? Because it seems, like we are heading towards being even more divisive, and conflicts are looming as well. So, yeah.
For me, I think it's all about setting the policy priorities, because as I think Prue Thai has learned a long time ago in its journey, and I think the Move Forward Party or previously the Future Forward Party has learned the hard way is to not to push too much on the aggressive reform on the table, because somehow that's not how some sector in the society will approve of. So as we can see that the Move Forward Party is achieving toward sort of reform-driven policies into the economic-driven policy or business policy. They still pushing both the reform and business side, but they lean toward more on showing the community that they are trying to help on the business side of it. They're not just academia or someone that want to reform only, but they want to help improve the economic situation of Thailand. So I think if we're not so sure of how this new government might turn out, but I think if the political parties set the right policy priorities, then I think they also shape how the society or Thailand will see the political future of the country as well.
And what are the challenges for the next Thai government, I mean domestically and globally?
So, like the point that we have discussed before, they need to create a win set between the progressive, liberal, and the conservative. That, for example, economic, we need to get our economy turned around and to become competitive again. So that is the agenda that both sides agree upon. So they have to prioritize that kind of issue first. And for the sensitive reform, they may set aside a little bit longer. And I think once they take the power, they would be more flexible to listen rather than to dictate anything on their own. But having said that, I'm not sure that Move Forward can become the government party, can form the party. It depends on the vote. If they won number one, that is very likely. But if they're not, Prue Thai would be number one party. Move forward, maybe not in the government.
Chances are it could also be them against the rest. So the rest can also collide. I mean, we heard of that prediction as well, that they will be left alone as an opposition, and then the rest will collide. I mean, is that a likely scenario as well? I mean, is it too early for us to form a simulated coalition as of now?
I think
what are the likely scenarios?
The likely scenario, first one, it can be that Prue Thai party, if they want as number one party, they can make coalition with many party like Phumchai Thai, and also PPRP, Parang Pracharat. But whether General Pravitt would be involved or not is still up in the questions. So if they can form like a Thai Sang Thai party and also smaller parties.
This does not include Move Forward party.
Right. Okay. Because Move Forward, we would likely to vote for them, or abstain the vote. Or, even though Move Forward not become the government, they do not want general to continue, right? So they do not vote for the Rwam Thai Sang Chat or Palang Pracharat anyway. So that can be the scenario, but it depends on the number of seats that they can gain. Yeah. But now this scenario seems to be a little bit difficult because Move Forward seems to be very strong, turned out to be very strong.
So in that case, what would be
another scenario?
Will that be like a single party government or
no party can become a single party government. But Prue Thai would be very tempting for them to include Khao Kai into the coalitions. But that would probably not that stable, not that stable.
Is Prue Thai independent of that decision? I mean, or is Kun Thaksin still very much have a say?
I think so. I think so. He still has a lot to say to the Prue Thai party. And when he said he would like to come back to Thailand, that means he he willing to compromise with the probably Palang Pracharat party so that to get the backup of the senator. But that scenario before the election today, that the move forward turned out to be very strong. So that is the key, the changer, the game changer in these elections.
So what do you see as the challenges then, Kunam, for that whoever is the next administration? What are the challenges for them?
I think looking at the political spectrum of Thailand so far, we sort of shift towards on the left side on a more liberalistic views. So the new government as well as the new opposition leaders need to stay relevant for the Thailand political scenes, because even though we can see the two leading parties are Move Forward Party and Prue Party, I don't think they can set their own agendas 100% on what they has been rallying for. They have to make a compromise, make a policy priorities to lean toward more what the society will see as the most benefit on this side, as well as the next opposition parties. They have to also stay relevant, because if we think of election as a 4-year thing, then the next 4 year, then I think they'll need to plan a comeback scenario. So they have to learn a lot from this election and try to adjust or adapt the policy offerings as much as possible.
And I've been monitoring international media's observation on our election, on our democracy, on our development as well, and it seems like they're not letting us get off the hook of will the coup be staged again, and so their focus is on fixated on that. Are we going to be able to get over that with this election, Professor Kitti?
Well, again, I'm optimistic that coup would not happen, because the conservative establishment, they have many tools. First, the senator, the 250 senators, and the second tool would be the independent agency, starting from electoral committee, constitutional court, and anti-corruption commission. But having said that, it would be harder to activate that kind of mechanism to prevent the progressive forces or liberal forces to become the government. So I think this time it can be compromised in the sense that Prue Thai party form the government, coalition government with PPRP, the Palang Pracharat, including all the smaller party and Phumchai Thai party, and to left the General Prayut party and Khao Kai Move Forward party as the oppositions. It would be a very old, very old partner in the opposition.
Will that be okay for the younger generation? If that's the case, if that's the scenario, a compromising coalition?
I think it depends on how the outlooks of the compromising turn out, because younger generations, for me, I think has put high hope in the new coming change, be it through Move Forward Party or Prue Party. If it turns out that the compromise has been going against what the leaders of the liberal side has promised to them, then I think the people would see for themselves and not approve these two parties, and maybe next time these two parties might not be relevant anymore. So I think they have to be very careful.
I think what they try to do is that to not involve, if the compromise happens, not to involve General Prayut into the government, and then he just left the party of some sort, because the party PPRP, most MP come from Prue Thai party. Many of them come from Prue Thai party. If the head is gone, so it could be easily to absorb.
This would be my question as well. How do you see the future of the two generals? I mean, General Prayut and General Prayut and their parties after this election?
Vacation.
It's very likely that they can take a long vacation at home, because General Prayut is not the party leader, is not on the party list, but he is the candidate for the prime minister. Because in Thai constitution allow that to happen. So. Yeah.
So this we talk about the I think domestic challenge, which seems like to be politics, right? And what about global challenges that the new government would face? Because given that we are now living in the aging society as well, and economic problem, and maybe some instability in politics and challenges ahead.
And also
from outside.
And yeah, now that Kun Miki has mentioned that, I would also like to add, the observation on the narratives in the media that we also are aware of the interference by the international community on the election. Have you been feeling that as well? That we're being pulled pulled to each other's side for the superpower in the region. I mean, how are we going to position ourselves, among the regional conflicts?
Well, I think even if the progressive or liberal party, Pheu Thai or Move Forward become the government, I think they try to keep good balance. I think anyone in the government, they would try to keep good balance between the United States and China. But so far, a lot of fake news that came out that the Move Forward Party will be leaning toward the United States. The United States were behind the youth movement and so on. I don't think once they're in the government, they would not do so. I mean, they would keep a good balance. But however, one thing that's going to be changing from the new government, I think we need to be more active in our foreign policy. In Myanmar issue and also even in Ukraine issues, we tend to be very quiet and vote against the international community. That also make our foreign policy or doesn't look that great among the ASEAN country. And you see that the initiative taken by Jokowi visiting Ukraine, Russia, try to mediate between the two. Hun Sen invited the foreign minister of Ukraine to the ASEAN summit and so on. So I think we lose our opportunity to take a leadership in ASEAN. I think that is the key issue that we need to reactivate our leadership in ASEAN.
But isn't ASEAN positioning has been non-interference among internal conflicts so far, or will that change as well?
But if we take a look at the activities of the Indonesia, Malaysia, they're very active in Myanmar issues. I don't think they stick to the non-interference. I think non-interference, we can be non-interferent if our neighboring countries is in order and not affect our country. But nowadays, as Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said very clearly, the situation in Myanmar clearly affected our country. Migrants, socio-political issue, economic issue, always related to other countries. We cannot just stay on the sideline. We need to go beyond that in order to make peace, help make peace in our neighboring countries. I think that is ASEAN is going, not non-interference strictly.
You also very much engaged, in the Alumni Association, Thailand-United States, and we've been hearing a lot about the interference as well. What would be your comment on the international interference on our internal politics?
Right.
Have you felt any? Have you seen any? Or have you observed any?
I don't think the interference comes through direct way. I think that the interference that we see mostly are from through the cultural or the set of culture, the set of norms that we learn from the Western country or even in the Eastern country in Asia as well. We see how their democracy developed. We see how their economic or business develop. And I think what the youth of Thailand expect is to see our country catching up more with the pace of our neighboring countries. We want to see Thailand take a more active role in what Professor Kitti said, the foreign policies. We want to see Thailand becoming more of the center of Southeast Asia or ASEAN and taking an active role in terms of helping neighboring countries to secure their peace and something like that. Yeah.
So interference, I think it's more in terms of norms rather than direct interference to support some group by some means. I think more like a norm, democratic norms. That I think if we do not go with that, we gotta get criticism for sure for a Western country, for advanced democracies. That would be we cannot avoid. So I don't think that is a kind of interference. It's just the norm that they would say to any country, not Thailand only. I think.
So what kind of foreign policies or would you like to see moving forward as a country?
As someone from the youth empowerment sector,
And also interest in the public policy yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I wish to see more is on the youth empowering side. We want to see Thailand has taking an active role domestically and internationally in terms of empowering or building capacity for our younger generations to be able to not only lead the thoughts or lead the ideas at home, but also at the international stage. We want to see them becoming more active, engaging more in the international crises or international situations.
Let's take a look at the vote counts.
Yes,
right?
now as of 8:30 p.m. here, only about 10% of the vote have been reported by the Election Commission. So still long way to go for tonight to see the final result.
Because we're basing on
Yes.
the official
But now
results.
as we see, but the party list vote counting, Move Forward Party is still leading with 1.1 million votes already, and followed by Pheu Thai, the second, and United Thai Nation Party came as a third one. But actually, it's also the good record. I mean, score for the Rome Thai United Party, right? To come as the third in the lineup.
Yeah, that is also significant. Before the election, observer expected that the conservative side, the largest party would be the PPRP, Palang Pracharat, led by General Prowit. But it seemed that General Prayut Party, the United Thai Nation, came out to be stronger than the PPRP. Probably because the old generations or the conservatives, they would like to prefer General Prayut and they advocate and they gain more seats. So if you remember that the magic number 25 seats, if your party candidate can become prime minister, so much far more exceed the 25 magic number, now 40 or something that has been expected.
Yeah, for the United
Thai Nation
Party,
General
right?
Prayut
Yeah,
Party.
yeah. So, wow, that's very interesting. And constituency. This is the party list vote for the prime minister. We also have
Okay, we're still waiting for the result
okay.
on the constituency-based MPs.
Yeah. There are many theories about the relationships about the generals, General Prowit and General Prayut. We've been asked all the time, by the
Everywhere.
ambassadors and international friends, and and there are theories and conspiracies. Are you comfortable enough to give your own observation about that?
I think they respect each other. They respect each other. They have been together for so long.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to break them.
So is it possible for Palang Pracharat to form a coalition, for with Phumchai Thai and United Thai Nation?
Of course, but the number would not be enough.
Would not be enough.
Number would not be enough.
Okay, this is the vote counting result for the constituency-based MPs.
Okay. So Pheu Thai, as predicted, is now winning. This is 10% of the votes.
Just 10% something.
So too early.
Too early.
To
The figure can still shift.
to make a call. Yeah. Nice.
But the interesting thing is that Pheu Thai and Move Forward is so close to each other.
Right.
How are they different? Because
You
they've
mean
been
policy platform?
Yeah, because they are labeled as the democracy side, and the other one is more like a dictator. I hate to use this word, but that's the direct translation from the Thai media. Even though the previous government was also elected, but still, we still have these two labels, dictator and the democracy. So. Yeah, how are they different than Pheu Thai and
to characterize
Move Forward?
the Pheu Thai party and Move Forward, we can say that Pheu Thai party is more like a center left, center
okay.
left,
Yes.
and Move Forward is more on the left. The different point between the two parties is on the Le Majesté law.
Okay.
Le Majesté law, or Article
112, yeah.
112, and also the military draft, military conscription that the Move Forward Party would like to abolish right away. I think this is to point of demarcation between them, or you can say
Whether
fault
they
line.
can join together or not.
Right. I think Pheu Thai, if possible, they would not like to join with Move Forward because it's gonna be a less stable government. It's too progressive for the conservative to accept.
And what do you expect from the 250 senators into this election?
I think if the Palang Pracharat PPRP party is included in the coalitions, it would be more likely that the senator will vote for prime minister. For Pheu Thai party, if Pheu Thai form
Are there
with the
divisions
PPRP.
in the 250 senators?
There has some.
Are
there
they
has some-
united?
There are some story about that, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. It would be very minority.
So you still think it's
Minority.
unanimous?
More anonymous, more monolithic to me. But people, independent senator maybe less than 10 or 20.
Okay.
Because actually at first I think I hear that maybe 60 or 70 senators may consider to abstain or to vote, accordingly to the poll results. So that is too high, right? I mean the number.
Too high. But it can be the abstain throughout the Senate. Maybe 250 not vote at all.
Not at all.
And it's got to be the deadlock. It can be deadlock. And General Prayut would be acting prime minister.
As long as he
As long
wants.
as
Which is not okay for...
So we
the
cannot
country moving
expect a
forward.
new government until 2 months, I think.
I think
Time
so.
frame.
I think so. It take a long time for the electoral committee to approve all the 500 candidates.
I think I just read 60 days, right? For them to... For them to... 95% has to be counted and certified before they can call for the meeting in the parliament to be seated.
So let's see the vote counting result before we end the program.
Okay.
This is the latest result. The Move Forward Party now go up to 1.3 million for the party list vote counting result, and followed by the Pheu Thai Party at 1.2 million. And the third is the Prime Minister Prayut's party, almost 500,000 vote. Thai Party is also not bad, comes at fourth.
Last questions. Do we have too many parties?
I'm afraid so.
Or are we leaning
70
towards,
parties.
or are we leaning towards fewer parties? In the,
Actually, we have like almost 70 parties registered this time, but just like around 10 big parties.
But you can see that this time the vote go to a big party more and more, and smaller party do not get many votes at all. Even Chhat Pathana, Kla, or Chhat Thai Pathana.
Is that healthy for Thai democracy to be leaning towards fewer parties?
I
Because
think so.
we had a bad experience of the parliamentary dictatorship already in the past.
But in stable democracy or advanced democracy, they have fewer parties. I think that's the way to go. Otherwise, it's gonna be a more micro negotiation with smaller party to gain a seat for minister. They form small party. Okay, we got five seats, and then we can negotiate one post of minister. That's not gonna be healthy for.
Are we heading to that situation after the election to have fewer parties?
Fewer parties.
This time, I don't think so, because it seems that the smaller party do not get so many votes. Maybe they get less than 10. Many of them get less than 10 seats. So that means they cannot have much bargaining power.
I just noticed we didn't mention one party at all from the beginning of the show, the Democrat Party.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Equation.
Because they still hold many seats in the south.
Yeah,
I mean,
but Bangkok,
especially in Songkhla.
Twice already, Bangkok, they've been losing ground.
But they are always good at oppositions. when they are in the opposition, they become very
They're professional
strong and get popularity more.
Yeah.
And the Pheu Thai Party, I don't think they would form coalition with a Democrat Party. They would leave the Democrat Party and General Prayut Party, United Thai Nation in the opposition. I think.
I see. I'll say. What would be your final say to the audience who are watching?
Next chapter
the
Thailand,
next
what should
chapter
we look
Thailand?
forward to? Yeah.
First, we need to be patient. We need to wait a few months, maybe 2 months. We have to expect 2 months at least when we going to have the new government. First thing. Second thing, we need to look at 2 scenarios. It's gonna be 2 outstanding scenarios. First, as I said earlier, the Pheu Thai party from the coalition with PPRP, with General Pravit party, and also other smaller party, Phum Chai Thai medium-sized party as well. That would be one scenario. But General Pravit, whether he will be in the government or not, is questionable. Before that, not questionable. But with the strong move forward parties, become more questionable.
Okay.
The second scenario would be move forward party, Pheu Thai party and move forward party to form the coalition, probably with the other smaller party as well. But
that would be unstable as you.
Can be unstable. It depends on how they make the compromise with the conservative force negotiation behind the scene and so on. But that not promising. That not much promising.
Last words.
I think please my last word would be please keep the momentum going because for me as mentioned earlier Thailand's democracy is work in progress. Election is one of so many ways that we can engage in politics. It's one of so many factors that form the strong democracy. So today we vote or we make the election. The day after today, months, years, we help check, we help observe how this new government is performing. And then we have to, sort of engage in other political means that, to be able to help to check and balance the government and how the country is going.
May I add just one thing?
Yes, of course.
I think for our international audiences, I think Thai politics, Thai democracy cannot turn out to be full democracy in a day or 2 or in a year. I mean, we have been bombarded, we have been in political impasse, crisis for almost 2 decades. So it takes a little time to evolve into a better democracy. But I think this election signal a very good direction. We have a good direction in our democracy. So let's have a hope on it.
Thank you so much. Professor Dr. Kitti Prasirtsuk and Kun Om, Kun Prud, Wahachart for joining our show today. And that's a wrap for the special coverage on Thai election 2023, next chapter Thailand. Thank you so much for watching. Kun Thanchanok, Jongyotying, and Varin, Sachdev, and the whole team. We're signing off and wish you all the best. And thank you for tuning in. Swadee krap.